Hey everyone, this is Stefan, aka Plastic Pen, and you're listening to Pen Tales, my brand new interview podcast about illustration and art. In this second episode, I was joined by Dimi Pantazis, who explains his transition from being a scientist to becoming an artist. We also chat about his work for our upcoming Mirror Dreams book and how important it is to build a community as an artist. Unfortunately, Dimi's camera didn't work for this recording, so if you're watching this on a video platform, I'm afraid you have to live with my pancake face only. But don't let that throw you off though, because Dimi's a really fascinating artist persona, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the talk. Have fun. So Dimi, I've asked ChatGPT to tell me who you are, and this is the result. Dimitris Pantazis is a professional illustrator and comic artist, known for his distinctive and captivating artwork. Raised in Greece and initially trained in physics, he later shifted his focus to the arts, specializing in graphic and web design before transitioning into comics. His style is celebrated for its unique blend of storytelling and aesthetics. Pantazis has contributed to several international publications, including Ramble by Image Comics, Bad Words by Dean Beatty, From Hell's Heart by A Wave Blue World, or Imagine FX magazine. Additionally, he has been developing a creator-owned story about a family of crows, showcasing his ability to merge intricate narratives with evocative visuals. So the first question is, did you actually study physics, or is that just something GPT came up with?
No, my major was in physics in university. So I did get a degree in physics. Theoretical physics. Yeah. Not engineering physics, but that's just theoretical, like atoms and particles.
That's
and nuclear
quite
reactions and
different
stuff.
from art and illustration, right?
It actually is. It's like art. When I was a kid, ready to go to university, art wasn't like an option for me to make a career, because it was like a bit ago. So yeah, I thought, because I'm interested in science as much as I'm interested in art, and that's healthy, I think. So I went with that along that route. I was happy. I didn't like follow the career completely. I did some teaching mostly in physics, but that's about it. And then I realized the art part of me was more strong and needed to release something, a way out. So yeah, that's about it. But the story goes like, after that, we made a small business, a web designing company, which still a thing, and I was doing the graphic designing. But still, that wasn't exactly what I really wanted for my life, like for the rest of my life. So I changed career one more time.
Yeah, that's
So
really
I jumped to art,
fascinating.
illustration.
The funny thing is, for me, that the usual story often goes like, I've always been bad at school. Natural science were enemies.
Yeah.
And I sucked at math, still do. So, I mean, finding your career path in within the creative field, like transitioning from graphic design to illustration, you hear that a lot. But transitioning from physics to illustration or art is that's really sounds
It's not
very
common.
unique to me.
Well, look, it was a very easy way to make art. Was a very easy way to make friends when I was in the university, because I always was making portraits of the professors while attending a class, and the other people were always interested in my portraits. So
art is
I made
communication,
friends.
right?
Yeah.
And does this part of your, I will say, original education, does this part still influence your work today?
I don't know. Can we really say? But I don't really know. It influences my way of thinking. I'm trying to be more practical and more realistic, and maybe that has to do with how I draw, because I think they tend to simplify things some, and I tend to be right on the point. But I lose some, but I gain some in speed sometimes, and I gain some in storytelling, because sometimes, a picture is easier to see if you simplify it in certain ways, not make it making it like, devoid of any context, but simplified.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Maybe
that
more
might say that.
methodical approach.
Yeah, more, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, I think I think a lot. Most of the time, my work is actually thinking, not drawing. If that makes any sense, I think it does make sense to you. I'm sure
Yes.
you're drawing in your head, even when you're out and hiking. You're actually drawing in your head. You see things and you actually memorize them, and you think how you can use that later. We do that. We
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that makes lots of sense to me because I strongly believe that the concept phase and the um, phase or the
Visualization.
process. Yeah, exactly. That's all this kind of steps before you actually draw the final drawing are minimum like 50% of the work for me, maybe
Mhm.
even more.
I think it's even more. I think it's even more. Like most people don't get that we actually work when we sit and stare at something or just taking things in. We actually work at the time, but most people don't get that. It's a
Hmm.
continuous, I think, development
Yeah,
of the
it's
mind that
and it's something that
lets you do that.
I feel like as an artist, you constantly play with this idea in your head. So for
Yes,
me, I can say
yes,
that I
yes,
very often think about this whole concept of how
yes.
does an idea come together and how do I create, like, where does inspiration come from and how does it all flow together into, for example, an
Yeah,
image.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's really fascinating, and I don't want to call it like a magical process or something because there's rules and there's methods behind it, but it's
And
still
problem solving.
fascinating. I'm sorry.
And lots of problem solving is
Yes.
another way. Yeah. So yeah, it is logical in a way, but in the same way, it's very it works under your skin, like it works without you wanting it. You just taking things in, and your mind is doing
Yeah,
things to
that's
it, and you
we
transform
could
it to
talk
something else.
hours about this alone.
Have you ever felt like when you take something in, an idea, a concept, you actually start visualizing it in your head, like
Yeah, all the time.
yeah, but after that, sometimes I get into the point and I say, okay, I know what I want, I know what I will do. What's the point of doing it? So I get sometimes to that kind of feeling in my head, like, I know, but now it's the tedious part. Let's do this. So yeah, I think
So
you
you
know the
mean
feeling.
it's enough to have the
Yeah,
idea in your head. You
yeah.
don't need to.
Sometimes it is like, yeah. I'm sure you get this.
Yes, yeah. It's there's I have that sometimes with ideas that blow up too big,
Hmm,
you know.
hmm,
So I know
hmm.
it will be something I enjoy when it's done, but the way of actually creating it into like an existing piece is intimidating, maybe. But honestly, I enjoy the process of making
Me
art so
actually,
much that
yeah. I enjoy that too. To be honest, like
so when I start, I usually just enjoy it.
the mark making has its own merits, like making
Yes,
marks on the
definitely.
paper. Yeah,
Even
you're
though
right.
it's a digital surface for me because I do all my drawings digitally now. But I guess
Okay.
it's the same.
It's the same. I don't see any difference. It's only practical things that differ, but like each one has its own difficulties and pros and cons. So I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah.
yeah. In the end, it's about finding a
Mhm.
process that suits your personal
Yeah.
workflow, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So I already mentioned, or ChatGPT mentioned that you were part
Yeah.
of a couple book projects already, and you joined Dominic and me for Mirror Dreams, which we
Yeah.
are really super happy about because we love your work and we love what you did for the book. And then we're going to reveal that or produce that for the book soon. For everyone not knowing the project yet, Mirror Dreams is an art anthology about the worlds of dreams and nightmares. And Dominic, my co founder, and I gathered 13 really amazing artists to turn dreams and nightmares into comics and illustrations. And the special part of it is that it's dreams and nightmares that our communities and followers sent to us, and each artist could pick their favorite stories and turn it into art. And the project will be, or the book will be, on Kickstarter in just a couple of days. And Dimi, you picked some really fun stories. I really did not expect anyone to go with the Killer Tomatoes one, you know? So, but you obviously enjoyed working on that very much. It's a really great. I mean, it's a single kind of single illustration, but once I saw that I was really I really love that. So, what's your overall impression of the project? How did you like working with the dreams of other people?
First of all, I think the amount of stories those dreams contain is amazing. Like, I was thinking, the amount of dreams that people sent us was so much. It was actually, it was great to see all those dreams, and it was very hard for me to choose any of them because there were, in their own ways, there were some very amazing stuff in there, like amazing stories to tell. And some were very disturbing, for sure.
Yes.
Better than me. Yeah, like some of the things I read, I was deeply touched and disturbed in a good and or a bad way. I don't know, but it was like really powerful stuff. I decided to go with dreams that I think it was mostly based on grief. So, because I'm Greek, obviously, so I wanted to, because I know the visuals more than anything. So yeah, I did that, and it was very exciting. It has some limitations, but the limitations actually do you good, I think. So yeah, and I saw it was amazing because I saw all the art from the other people that are doing the project. Then and they're amazing. All of them are amazing. I was really amazed with the stuff people did in that book.
Here's a little preview of one of the stories that is maybe a little more disturbing than the others.
Yeah, that one is disturbing.
So we can see some of your really lovely details here in the drawing. And yes, about the limitation, that's really interesting because I was sitting here yesterday thinking about. So I personally made my first comic story ever, or comic drawing ever.
I remember.
Apart from something I did as a kid, but that doesn't really count. So and I was sitting here. I wanted to turn my experiences and my process and what I experienced on the way into a little YouTube kind of I don't know, kind of diary thing. And I wrote down some thoughts, and I had the exact same thought about the limitation that is in this. For me, it was really great to have, to see the stories of the people, the dreams, as a bit like a creative briefing. So someone sends you an idea, and you have to make an illustration or a comic for it, because I find it really challenging to come up with a great story, and not only the art, but on top of that, or prior to the actual art, a story that will attract people and that will keep readers hooked. So I really liked having this selection of dreams and just picking something that resonated with me, but it was hard to actually make a selection.
It was. As I said, wasn't there like a great amount of good stories in there? I think we could make like 15 books like that.
Yes, I told Dominic we should make like volume 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could just use the dreams we already had.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about the same thing too. So can mean.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I found it interesting. I guess maybe the people who submitted their dreams that were located in Greece, I thought they were probably followers of yours who sent us these dreams, because it was I think you had 4 dreams in total, so you picked more than most of the other artists.
That was my limitation. I wanted to do as much as possible, but at the same time, I wanted to, because we had like each artist had a number of pages that could work with. So the limitation for me was to tell the story in as little time as possible, and also because it's a dream, and dreams are actually no time at all. They went over like very fast. All dreams are going very fast. So that's what I was trying
Hmm.
to do with my stories. I was trying to make them go fast. So yeah, even it's more like even a slow narrative. I think I try to make it like fast and
Yeah, that's an interesting approach because I once read that when you dream and you wake up and remember what happened in the dream, it's sometimes it feels like that the dream unfolded over several hours, but the dream often is just goes like for maximum of just a handful of minutes, I think,
yeah. Like
and
most usually a few
that's an
seconds.
interesting thought. Yeah, maybe even that, and that's I think this short story format is a great way of paying tribute to dreams actually being something very fast and very I mean, dreams is something that are hard to grasp as well. It's just like a with a blink of an eye. Sometimes you forget what you actually just dreamt.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really interesting to squeeze these stories into short story format as well.
On the other hand, think about how moved would be the people who actually their dreams are in the book.
Yes.
I think I already like talked to you guys and I said like I know a person that actually saw in a preview of the book one of their dream, and they were like they actually contacted me and said I was actually not my dream, but another dream from another artist, and they contacted me and said like tears were welling down my face. That's
Wow.
beautiful. And, yeah,
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait for the reactions of people once we release the whole book and once
yeah.
everyone saw which dreams are landed in the book. That would be great. Yes. Do you know that we once kind of, not really, but kind of had a collab project? Because I remember today. So when I wrote down a couple of thoughts for this podcast, I remembered that I once took part in one of your Draw This in Your Style challenges from back when Instagram was
Oh,
still
really?
kind of a nicer place with more artistic challenges.
Yeah, I don't remember really, but I really.
I can share.
Yeah.
I can
Please
share
do, please do.
for everyone watching and not only listening. There's you had
Okay.
this Draw This in Your Style with the character that is kind of like a human upper body, but as instead of a head, the character has a goldfish in a bag, and I think there's another one with an eel
Yeah,
in a bag, or
yeah,
yeah, I think that's an eel, right?
yep. That's right.
So and it's from 2020, so it's been 4.5 years ago, quite a long time ago,
Yeah, it was.
and back then I think they're not around as much anymore, unfortunately, but back then we had lots of these Draw This in Your Style challenges on Instagram where an artist would just post a picture and
Mm.
everyone was challenged to create their own version. And I made this one here.
Oh, I do remember
Uh,
that. Now I do remember that.
Mr.
Okay. That
Mr.
was great.
Eel. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed making this back then. I remember I had lots of fun with this. So I kind of made Mr. Eel. So I made an eel
Yeah, I remember that. I think.
in a bag as a head, and the eel looks quite mad, and the body has this tattoos and a cigarette, so it looks a little bit more badass. uh, yeah, it's a bit sad that these challenges are not around anymore.
I do. I
I
do
think
want
Instagram.
once a while. I do some for some other artists. It's been a while since I did one of my own, but I do for other artists. Sometimes I participate, like you did for others, and I think it's fun because, as we said before, it's the limitations.
Mhm.
The limitations make you do good stuff, I think, or at least they challenge you enough make it interesting. So yeah, it's the funny thing. It's about time you make your own drawings in
I
your style.
did.
I will
I did a
participate.
couple times. Mhm. I'm not sure if I can find.
I mean a new one.
Yes, a new one. I'm a bit afraid that almost no one will take part because, first of all, my Instagram reach is really low lately. So many people.
Yeah, like for all of us, I think.
Um, I just have. I'm just looking for the last one I did, but yeah, you're right. You're right. It's about time to make a new one. I can't even find the last one.
I promise I will participate. So do this.
Okay, okay. If you promise me that you will take part, then I will post
Oh,
something
definitely,
soon.
definitely.
Okay, okay, great. That's a deal. um, so just as I mentioned, the good old times on Instagram when it all was more about community and actually enjoying art. Today, it's personally I don't want to rant, but personally for me, it feels like it's art is more like a vehicle for creating hooks into short form video content.
You're right.
And I do certainly miss these times when there were more like creative hashtags around where people could take part in community actions. However, you built your own kind of community on Discord, right?
Yeah, correct. I think I started the Discord like because we were starting the Mirror Dreams project, and that was a good way because you had that server on Discord and said, oh, I remember talking to you and I said I'm thinking about making my own server, and I hastily did one, and I'm still refining the thing, but it's been very well. I think the community there is not large, but it's lots of people, like almost 1,000 people there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's large enough, but they're all very good people. That's what I'm saying. I didn't have any drama at all. I didn't have anyone speaking badly about someone else, and that's so rare these days. You know how it is.
Yes.
So yeah, even just for that, I'm very proud of it because people are actually helping each other. They're offering opinions like very decently and very kindly, and they share resources, and we're having those weekly challenges in there, which is I think people like it a lot.
Yeah.
They participate.
I'm impressed by how active everyone is, to be honest, because I am a member of the Discord, but I'm not very active on other servers. I'm not active on my own server at all, so it's pretty dead, to be honest, unfortunately. But it's my own fault. But I always see your reposts in Instagram stories when you repost the work of the community, and I mean I was really wondering, how did you create such a buzz? It's insane how many people take part in the weekly challenges.
Yeah, I really don't know. Um, I think it's people can see my honesty that I really do want to help. I'm actually this taking out of my personal time, so I'm not gaining anything out of this. But I really do want to help. I want to help like young artists and to take the lead, and maybe that way you can make Instagram and social media great again. Oh my god, I sound like a politician, you know.
It's okay.
Anyways, yeah, you know, if you know what I mean. But yeah, but by sharing people, by loving works of art, and by helping younger people to go out there and post their work and be proud of it and work more and all that stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with the weekly challenges.
That's
And
great.
I think people can see that. I think people can see that it's not a corporate thing. We're not doing this out of wanting to get anything out of it. It's a
How do you
sincere
find the time
community,
to
and people
that you
react
can
to it.
invest into the server and into the people?
I have no life. That's simple.
Okay, that's yeah, that's a totally fine answer. I know how it is to not have a
No,
life.
you, you make time between your work and all that stuff. Actually, after a while, you even in art and all things, you tend to make the right prioritization, and you be more effective without working like crazy amount, and you make your own procedures and processes.
Yeah,
So all this work,
and
even in art.
I'm not sure, but I could imagine that this is also inspiring to you, seeing people posting the daily,
Oh,
the weekly
definitely,
challenges, and you get like some
definitely,
input from it
definitely.
as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. In general, like people are they're saying their opinion, and that's good. But there were times in the weekly challenges, especially that I see works that are better than mine because I'm just trying to participate and not let the community do their own thing. I'm just to be active as them. But sometimes I've seen like great pieces of art, and I know this is good. This is good. I like it, and it's empowering me a lot to be more like efficient, to be more good, to be a greatest artist as much as I can be anyway. So yeah, people are giving the people who participate, they're giving their all in that. So we all push each other in a gentle and kind way.
Maybe I should become an active member myself now that I hear all the good stuff.
Yeah, like you can. I think you're in my Discord anyways, but maybe you can participate at least once. That could give an incentive to lots of other artists. I think younger artists and people who don't have great accounts to like if they see. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying always. Like
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
good. It's good.
And what I really love about these creative challenges is that for me personally, years ago when I started out drawing daily, and when I thought, okay, I mean, we have in common that we both worked as graphic designers before,
Mhm.
and I always loved to draw and illustrate. At one time, I thought I should take the leap and really should go for full time freelance illustration. And what helped me to find my style and to refine the whole style was making or taking part in challenges. And it's for me, it's I can't repeat myself often enough in front of beginners and young artists that how helpful it is to get a little small briefing, some input by someone else that gives you a little direction so you can start making something without worrying about coming up with a great idea first.
I think it's the closest thing we have. Like let's say, like if you're a young artist and you want to be like more and you want to develop and get your own following and all the stuff. I think this is the closest thing you can have in real life work. Like that's what you get when you get a commission or work on a project. You get a briefing, and then you make your own thing, your own image according to the briefing. So that's what it is. So yeah, it trains you in a way. So yeah, it's very important to participate as much as possible. In general, the community, building a community, like in any way you can, like a small community, like 10 people who are your friends, other artists. Like I very much uh, say to people, go for this. Make your own community. Make your small tribe.
Yeah. And what's your plans for the future? Do you have anything in mind you want to try, or do you have cool activities up your sleeve that you want to do this year?
I've been working on a book with a crows, but it's been a long time coming. I'm not sure now, but I'm still have it on how when and how it's going to be published. At the same time, I'm working on a small collection of stories, like a horror stories, comic book again. And this is probably what's going to come out first because it's easier. It doesn't have a complicated scenario. It's small stories. I'm probably, if I'm able, I'm going to publish it this year or next year. So yeah, that's my main goal for now. I have like, as usual, like not a couple, like I do commissions a lot. It seems like there are some collectors out there who are really fond of what I do. So yeah, I do a lot of commissions.
Yeah, rightfully so, because you're a great artist.
I don't know, you know the imposter syndrome, so I would never say rightfully
I
so,
can say
but
it for you. It's okay.
like,
No, but I saw you. I saw you sell commissions through what's the page called?
my
Inky
art
Knuckles or
representative, yeah,
something?
Inky Knuckles, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
let me quickly share that. Um, Let me quickly have a look. I saw. So there's. Is this the main source of commissions you do?
I the guys I think in Knuckles are very flexible with me. I can take my own commissions if I feel like it, not just for them. But they do get me like good people, good commissions, because the collectors there know what they want for and they go for it. They're not this and this and that. So I did some of them. My greatest work actually was done
Cool.
by them. Yeah.
And you also have a shop, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
you
like
have
merch. Yeah, pen
merch,
prints and
right?
stuff.
This animal
Yeah.
pins. I always wanted to make animal pins, but I never. So far, I hope I hope I will do it sometime, but I never
Yeah,
did yet.
when you're ready, just send me a DM. I will explain some
Yeah.
stuff because it's kind of
Yes.
tricky.
So I found that with the very detailed style of drawing I have, it's difficult to turn this into pins, but I want to do it at some point.
Your style of work would be, I think, great on a pin. I really think so.
But these look great. I mean, the crows, obviously, but also the small prints. These are nice. How's the shop going for you? Is it working well for you?
Yeah, like if I had time to promote my stuff more, it would be going better. But I think it's a good income coming that way. But only when I actually am active in promoting my shop.
That's the same for me.
So you need to do that all the time if you want to get like to be living only out of your shop. You have to be doing that all the time. Not doing commissions, not doing comic book work and others. But for me, like commissions is must be my main income, and commissions and freelance projects like concept design for games or
Yeah, with the
board
shops, it's
games or
always
video games and
tricky,
stuff like
in
that.
my opinion, or from my experience, that you need to actively promote it all the time because
All the time,
it
all the
it
time.
doesn't feel right and doesn't feel good to be this kind of a salesperson constantly. And
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a situation a while ago where I was, I don't know, sharing my shop for the fifth time in a month or so, and someone saw I wrote that I was annoyed by myself for constantly pushing the shop so much, and someone said it's the first time I see that you have a shop, and I never saw it before, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
clicked a little bit for me because I was thinking, yeah, right, I know that I promoted it 5 times, but other people or my followers, they probably see the first time after I post it for the fifth time. So it's really difficult to find a balance there because selling prints and selling digital products is a great way of earning a passive income, but the promotion is I
It
know.
gives you like mostly it gives you a lot of artistic freedom. Like if you could just live out of our shops, then we could probably do the works of art that we want to do. So yeah, that if that makes any sense, it gives you great artistic freedom. But at the same time, you have to be a salesman, and you and me both are not good salesmen, I think. But we're trying to be good artists, and that actually is not the same thing. So yeah,
I don't know many really good artists that are enjoying sales and promotions. There are a couple.
yeah, I know just a few.
Yes, and I think these guys are often really successful because they have this artistic freedom, and they if they do something, like if they are great artists and also great salespersons, I mean that's a combination that is probably giving you lots of possibilities for passive income, but it's rare, definitely.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't think we say passive income, but it's not that passive. You work a lot to do it. So it's not that passive. Yeah. I think it's a very energetic income because you work for it. You work a lot. Like the amount of marketing and the amount of sitting down and planning and all that, it's a lot of work.
Yes, yeah, that's
And
right.
let's not forget about shipping and handling, because we're not big companies who mostly do like most of that. So I know they're one-man team. They don't have teams behind them to support them in shipping and handling. We just do everything by ourselves.
Yeah, I changed my print shopped from self-shipping and doing all the stuff myself to print on demand with a shop that I've worked with that made all my prints before. So, and they now offer print on demand as well. So I know the quality is really good, and I can
I
leave.
have. Oh, I'll DM you then. I would definitely want something like that.
Yeah, it's a German shop, so I don't know if I don't know if they take international artists as clients, but I can share them of course, because the quality is great, and
Yeah, I've
it's
seen
not
your
that
prints that
cheap.
look like really amazing.
Do you have a print of mine?
No, I don't, but from what I've seen on the social, I think the
Oh
quality
yeah,
of these
absolutely. Yeah,
prints,
they
they are
look even
amazing.
better. They look even better in real life. I know the quality is fantastic.
Because I thought about this giving to another company, like let's say Imprint or something like this. There are many companies out there, but from what I hear, the quality is usually not that good. So that's why I made my shop, because I know what I'm selling to people, so it's better that way. But if I could find someone who could do a better job than me, yeah, definitely. Even if I was earning a little bit less. So I don't mind that. The thing is, but you say, as you said, you know their quality, you know their work. So
yeah, it's they have great a great paper selection as well, and so far I really have to say I never saw better quality in art prints anywhere. The colors are insane. They are so bright and so good. I'm not sure if it's the right product or the right way for print on demand, because it's just really expensive, right? I can't sell a print for 15 euros or so. It has to be like the smallest is an A4 print. I think it's 24 euros or something. And
it makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah, it's a bit too much for some people, right? And
yeah, you're right.
So I'm a little unsure about that.
Yeah, I don't know how interesting that is to people, but I think if you combine things like some you're printing yourself and some you're outsourced, that would be a better idea for everybody.
Yeah, you never stop figuring things out in the end.
Yeah, like sometimes we just sit down and say, okay, I'm just an artist. Why do I need to bother with stuff? And then you put your head down and do all the necessary stuff. But
yeah, I can tell you, Dominic and I, we are constantly sticking our heads together right now for the Kickstarter. And right now we want to make a sticker sheet. We also want to make a couple postcards and art prints, and finding out the right suppliers. And it's like, which papers do you want to have this printed on? And then you have the cheaper options and the more expensive ones, and you have to try and do a couple of test prints. It's making physical products is just a lot of work.
how many pages is gonna be actually the mirror?
It will be big. So our plan first was to have 180 to 200 pages, and right now we are at 230 pages.
Woohoo! That's a lot.
Yes, it's going to be a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, I really hope we can get this funded on Kickstarter. I hope this will all work out. But the book, so
Is there a plan just for soft cover or hardcover? What are you guys thinking about it?
yeah, it's going to be a soft cover. So we have been thinking about making soft cover and hardcover, like a collector's edition. But we decided to go with here's the mock-up I can share again. We decided to go with a soft cover only because we like this kind of comic style book. So so this is just a mock-up, but this is pretty much how the book will look like in the end. So
yeah, look,
at the end
will
of
look
the
great.
podcast, I always sorry, didn't want to interrupt you, but thanks
No,
very
no,
much.
no.
I'm glad you like it.
I was admiring the book. Okay.
No, I'm gladly taking the admiration. The cover was made by Dominic and me together in a collab thing. So
It's great.
so we're really happy that you like it and how it turned out. Yeah. So for the end of the podcast, I always have a couple of questions or a couple of things I want to ask every guest. And the first one is a couple of A or B questions. So I'm going to ask you, like, would you rather pick A or B? And you can answer quick if you want, but also you can also answer a bit more detailed, just as you like.
Okay.
And the first question is, I think it's pretty easy for you because it's digital or traditional.
Yeah, for me it's traditional because I usually find more ways to express myself, and I enjoy the difficulty of it sometimes. You have to consider stuff how to make it work while not having control Z.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's not completely true, you always have control Z. To be honest, you always find a way to cover your mistakes.
You probably have to undo them in a more creative way.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're doing a big book like the Crow's book, that will be a longer story. Your whole process is completely traditional, and then you scan the work and just put it together, and for the print.
Okay, for what I've done for the crows is completely traditional. Then I'm gonna scan it and probably color it digitally.
Okay.
But the other book I was telling you about, the short story, is gonna be completely digital
Mm-hmm.
because it's faster. That's why, and I want to make it now. I want to finish it as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm gonna. But my style is probably the same, very close to each other. Digital and traditional. My style is almost the same. So yeah, I'm trying to keep that
that's
organic
interesting.
thing anyway.
Next question is drawing hands or drawing feet?
I hate drawing feet, actually. I love drawing hands.
Oh, that's cool. Most people hate drawing hands, or both.
Both, it would be the most common answer, I think.
Yeah, it would be my answer, but I think my personal answer would be I rather draw feet than hands because I'm suck harder at drawing hands.
There's also this thing, you can draw shoes on feet and you can cover all
You're
the
right,
little,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. The next question is work from home or having a studio?
I've always worked as an artist, I always worked from home, but I see this is not good for me because I don't have limits on how much I work. Instead, if I invested on me having a studio, that would be probably better for my mental and physical health, if you know what I mean, because you just go to your studio, work as many hours as you want, and then you leave your work behind, which is a very healthy way to see things. Since I'm working from home, I never escape work, one way or the other. Like, even if I'm not drawing, I'm doing something else, like Discord server or social media or whatever, or contacting people. Yes. So, if you're an artist that's starting now, invest on working from home, but think about in the future working away from home, if possible, making your own studio. How do you do that? Do you have a studio?
No, I work from home now, but I had a studio for many years, different ones. I had 2 studios total, and I moved to this place here with my wife a couple of years ago, and it just had more space. And I thought I could save money by just moving my workplace here.
Yeah, if you have a spare room, you can actually, you're doing that. You actually close the door and that's that. Like, you don't have
Exactly,
to, you
yeah.
have
But I
to go to
spend lots
another
of time
building.
here.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So my wife sometimes, she wonders how much time one guy can spend in this small room here. But yeah, it's
Artists and their dungeons.
yeah, exactly. It's really I I I'm asking these questions because I would often have a hard time answering them, and I love to hear what you and my other guests have to say. I loved working in a studio, but I also really enjoy getting up in the morning, just make my coffee here, walk over to the next room, and just start. Because
Yeah, when I was when I was in graphic designer, we had like a small company.
mhm.
Like I had I had my space there, my creative space there, and I went every morning. And in many ways, it's nice, but that being an artist is completely different. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't want to see anybody
I think
before you start work.
ideally I'd have a studio, but I could just work here and just go to the studio like 2 or 3 days a week
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
That would be
that would be the
perfect for me.
ideal, probably. Yeah.
But for that, it's too expensive, right?
I know.
So the next question is crows or people?
That's a difficult one.
Yeah, I thought so.
I enjoy drawing crows, to be honest, because they're my go-to when I don't feel like making it hard for me. I just draw the crow. But in general, I love drawing people. But I don't know. I don't have a conclusive answer. Probably I'll say people, even if that's not what I'm showing to my following. Mainly drawing animals. I wouldn't say crows in
Mhm.
specific, but I like drawing animals a lot.
And I mean, I had I came up with this question obviously because you have lots of crows in your work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
This
Obviously.
go-to topic thing is something I also recommend a lot because I have that
Yeah.
as well. I have also a couple of go-to things that
Mhm.
I can draw when I want to make something, but I just can't come up with a good idea. I
Mhm.
know, okay, I can always draw this and
Mhm.
it works. And it's really, I find it.
Yeah, but and I don't know about you. I have another topic. When I don't feel that good. I mean, mentally not in my best. So I usually draw trees,
Mhm.
which is because it's very flowing and very calming for me to draw trees. So yeah, like if you see my most informal sketchbooks, they're all full of trees because
Oh,
I
okay.
usually spend all my time there.
Yeah, for me it's buildings, like
Yeah,
houses.
yeah, I see that. But there you do buildings greatly. So yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
so I enjoy that a lot, and it feels always great to make a building, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I can see that. It shows in your work actually what you enjoy more and what you're more close to it. Sometimes it just shows in your work.
And would you pick fantasy or realism?
Fantasy all the time.
Okay.
I like realism. I like realism a lot, and I like people who actually marry those two together, making fantasy stuff
Hmm.
with realism, and it's great. But as the time goes by, and with all this AI thing and people doing realistic stuff all over the internet, it's full of semi-realistic or looking realistic, you know, garbage out there. Yeah, I tend to go for style instead of realism, even though sometimes when you sit down and draw, you tend to think how accurate this is in real life. But I like to purposefully drive myself away from that thing.
Hmm.
So because I want my personal thing to show more than the right analysis on the body or the buildings or the perspectives
Mm.
or anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Um, Work on a project you hate or have no project at all?
My God. Couldn't you find any more difficult question?
I'm sorry. It's the second to last. The last one will be easy.
Okay. Because I've done both, I think my worst case scenario is working on a project I hate.
Hmm.
Even if I have no project, I probably draw by myself. And okay, let's forget the living part out of this, but at least you're gonna be mentally healthy. Because if you work on a project you hate, you're gonna pay that eventually.
I think everyone who worked in the creative business as a freelancer or employee or however
Yeah,
has experience working on a project you hate at least once.
yeah, definitely. More than once maybe, but yeah. I just have a project in my mind that was like really,
Yeah.
really
I mean,
bad
in
for
the end, the
me.
beauty of being an artist is just as you said, having no project at all. I meant the question from a financial standpoint. So, like, would you have no projects
Yeah.
that give that like that earn you money at all? But we have it always in our hands to start something that will maybe eventually turn into something you can also sell.
But you just said it before. You don't just work on one. In our field, you don't just work on one thing. You have multiple ways of making income. So even if you don't have any real projects right now, you eventually find other ways to get some money to be able to live like properly. So that's what we do. We invent ways to make income with our art in as many possible ways as possible. So yeah, that's it. So if I don't have any projects, I'll make some by
Yeah,
myself.
that's a great answer. Uh, See, I think it wasn't that hard at all
Yeah, yeah.
to answer.
Oh, thank you, Stefan.
So the last one is while you're working, do you prefer silence or noise?
Sometimes I find that if I do that everything by silence, it's better, much better. But when you're in the zone, actually you don't hear anything anyway. But if usually I have something on the background, but not just music. Mostly I'm hearing podcasts or I'm having like YouTube videos playing on and hearing stuff. Yeah, but if I really, really want to concentrate on something, probably I'll stop everything and be in silence. And I find myself that when I do that, I enjoy it more in a way because I'm in more than depth in the what I'm doing. I don't know, just me. I know people who actually can't draw without having music
And
playing.
when you're listening to music, can you recommend songs you like to hear, or can you say what songs you love hearing the most? Because I also want to create a podcast playlist where every guest can add 3 songs to the playlist. And do you have anything you want to add to the playlist?
If I just had to pick one thing, I would probably choose some opera piece like La Traviata, for
Okay,
example,
okay, interesting.
or something like that.
I'm going to write that down. You can choose 3 songs, or I mean, if you want.
Yeah, I like. I don't remember names though, but I like the Happy song by. It was a
Yeah,
hit like a couple
Pharrell
of years
Williams,
ago. Sure. Yeah,
or
probably.
I think it was. Let me quickly check it out. I think it was Pharrell.
No, yeah, probably it was Pharrell Williams. Yes.
Yes. It's him. Yeah. Cool. That's a great one. I'm going to add that as well.
In general, I like happy songs. In general, because I don't want to think. I think the mood actually of the song can very really um, affect your mood while drawing and affect your drawing at the end. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
so that's why I don't have the time to make playlists myself because it takes too much time to make like a good playlist to hear like all the time, and then you get bored of it
Hmm.
out of it, and then you make new playlists and all that stuff. But and that's why I never have autoplay on my YouTube or any other music thingy I use because it eventually tends to something else. I don't want the other mood to jump in. I want to have complete control of the mood I'm in. So yeah, I'm going for the
Nice.
happy songs.
That's a good reason. Um, something nice about having a studio is, now that you mentioned that, making playlists. My first studio, or my first office space I rented together with 3 people
Mm-hmm.
total, like 2 other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a yearly hit, like a hit parade, best songs playlist
Okay,
of the
that's nice.
studio. So we had a Spotify playlist, and everyone could add their favorite songs. And in the end, we had like a yearly best of our studio. That was kind of cool, and that's something I miss a little bit, to be honest.
And actually, like 3 people contributing in one playlist is actually a good way to mess up with any algorithm because they don't know So
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
it's not gonna be like positive feedback all the time, getting songs that you like and nothing else. Yeah, definitely. What do you prefer, like listening to music or silence or what?
I like to have something on in the background. It can be a sitcom sometimes, or it can be music.
Mm.
And but it, for me, it's similar to your to how you approach it, because I feel like
Mm.
it depends on what part of the process I'm doing right now. And when I'm developing ideas, when I sit here and really try to come up with a concept or a great composition for something, for example, I prefer silence because I need to focus really much on the conception of something at the moment.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
if
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just outlining or coloring, I can put on a thriller or something. It doesn't matter. I listen. I don't know. Last week I watched I think some 90s action movie or thriller, maybe Heat or something. I'm not sure right now. I think it was Heat, and it's not a movie you can look. You have to really watch it, But I somehow, I don't know, my brain makes it work that I sit here and color an artwork and like,
Yes, I'm the same. I'm the
yeah,
same.
and
Okay.
but when I have
Can
to,
I ask one question myself?
yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you like preferring work by yourself or you're comfortable working in crowds? Let's say, do you work at all when you're in a coffee shop or something?
Both, to be honest. Uh, if I have to pick one, I would pick that I work by myself. But sometimes I feel like I have to see people and just get a little bit of noise
Mm.
around me. And I have two or three coffee shops around here that are just like a 5-minute walk. And I like to take my iPad and sit there for 2 hours, eat a piece of cake and drink a coffee
Mm.
and just draw.
Mm. Oh, I see. I see.
And I can also work well on trains, for example. When I have a long train ride, I can sit down on the train and just draw as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I see that. Okay.
And I like I love that I have the iPad and can work from anywhere I want. So I usually have that with me everywhere I go.
That's definitely a plus on the digital thing. When I work outside, because I'm kindly the same like you, but when I work outside, I always take my work, but at a certain stage, I cannot do both penciling and inking outside. I just do either penciling or either inking because I need to carry all the tools. So that's a big no-no. So yeah, you only in
Yeah.
certain
As a
stages. Yeah.
student, I did lots of traditional illustration as well. So I was carrying like a little watercolor package and fine liners.
Mm. You know how much of a fuss that is. Yes,
Yes,
it's a
absolutely.
fuss.
It's really it's crazy. But we had like a little group of
Mm.
students who all worked like with pencils and fine liners and watercolors. And for example, we went to the zoo and drew elephants and camels
I see that. I
and
see that.
animals like that. And everyone was there with their little watercolor palette, and it was kind of fun.
It
But
is.
I'm glad that I don't do that anymore because it's a lot of fuzz. Yeah. So my very last question is like a feel good question. Now that you mentioned that you like to hear happy songs, I have a happy question or a positive question, because I would like to know what your dream project is, like your dream creative art project. So there's no budget restrictions or time restrictions. If you want to paint the moon or go crazy, you can do it.
Okay, if I had no budget restriction, I would probably start a small but very specialized school for kids. I
Oh, that's
wouldn't I
great.
wouldn't like to teach anymore because I've done that in the past, but I would like people to get in there and make, this collaboration, this nice thing that's happening with artists get together. So yeah. And it will help like a lot of young kids. But not as school, I think you know what I mean. More like
Hmm.
you know, like a course, making courses for young people. So so they can give them a boost and maybe get them some connections if possible. But that's a lot of money. That's also a lot of time investing.
Yeah, but that's a beautiful dream project, to be honest.
Yeah, a good way of giving something back.
Yeah.
And investing in the future of this humanity thing, because everything is grim right now. So we do have to have dreams, and that's how we go to the mirror dream thing.
Right, exactly. No, it's fantastic. I love that. I mean, lots of artists I know, including myself, didn't have a really good experience at school in the regular school art classes, and it's fantastic. It's I'd love to see that, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be nice, actually. Like small communities, small schools.
And that was
Like that.
that would be like a place. Would you hire teachers, or like you would be the manager and hire teachers, or would it be like just for like an open space to create?
If possible, I would do an open space to create, but at the same time, I would like people to teach there. Yeah, I wouldn't like to. If I ever made that thing, which is not possible because you need a lot of money. But let's say if I ever did that thing, I would like to let it run by itself. I just want to start it and organize it, and then let it develop like a living organism by itself. It's gonna have like the way I'm thinking. You establish a board and certain rules that these rules actually define the future of the whole project.
Fascinating.
That's it.
Great. Yeah, Dimi. That's fantastic last answer, and thanks so much for coming on. And
it's my pleasure. Actually, it's my pleasure.
It's been a lovely talk, and yeah, we'll see what you did for the book very soon.
Yeah, I hope people are happy.
Yeah,
with it.
I'm pretty sure they are, and so Dominic and I love what you did, and I will also come back to or try to come up with and draw this in your style challenge. I promised it to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will
I'm waiting.
keep contact about that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Dimi.
Have a good one.
Once again, thanks so much, Dimi, for joining me. This was such a great talk, and I enjoyed it a lot. And if you guys liked it, please consider giving this podcast a thumbs up wherever you're watching, on whichever platform. It would mean a lot. And if you have feedback, and if you want to send me some suggestions or any kind of thoughts and ideas, please feel free to do so in the comments, or you can reach out to me through mail. That would be much appreciated. That's it for my second podcast recording ever. I want to say thanks to Everfresh Design for the great music and intro animation. And I hope we'll see each other soon in the next episode. Bye bye. Thanks for watching or listening.